I'm Cher, and this is Diary of a Pen Nerd. So, it has been a little while. I think it's been about a month and a half, almost 2 months since my last upload. My bad. If you missed that one, I moved. This is a totally new setup, totally new space, and it took me a long time to get adjusted. I'm still adjusting. It's my first time living away from home, so exciting things are happening, but I'm hoping to be able to get back into posting more regularly. I've got a lot of video ideas, and so that's where we are. Today, I actually wanted to start, with talking about transcribing, which is one of my favorite ways to play with my pens and inks, and kind of how you can incorporate transcribing into playing with pen and ink. So I have here a stack of different things I've transcribed at different points in time. These are actually sonnets. We were studying sonnets in my English class, and so we were gonna have to know some of them for the test, and so to get to know them a little bit better, I transcribed them, and I think that helped. And then I just have like a bunch of little pieces. This is a piece of a poem by Lemony Snicket, but I actually have transcribed the entire thing, which was quite an endeavor. This is the longest thing I've ever transcribed, but I love this poem. It's the I Will Love You poem. And I transcribed this one using this pen right here and Diamine Cozy Up. And this was a very fun project. It took me a couple of hours, and I was trying to practice writing in cursive, writing in longhand. I didn't have any expectation for how it would look. I just wanted to get more used to it, get faster at it. And so I practiced a lot of longhand. And here I have a poem from Edgar Allan Poe, which I actually made a video on transcribing this one. And this one I did with a quill, actually. So that was super fun too. This, I don't know if this even counts. This was another video that I did, but this is the first line in the book The Last Unicorn by Peter Beagle, which is one of my favorite books. And I would really like to transcribe the whole thing, or if that's too ambitious, because I tend to be ambitious, passages from it, because I love this book so much. This is actually song lyrics, and I was doing this one to look at the shading properties in this ink, which is Dominant Industry Arizona Sky Crimson, which is in my Pilot Parallel right now. So these are song lyrics I was transcribing. And then this is a short story in Chinese. It's not completed. So if you're trying to read it and you're like, wait, this doesn't sound complete, it's not, but I'm still working on it. And so it's a good way that I like to practice language, is transcribing short stories and poems and songs and even like dictionary entries in This is Mandarin Chinese, so I had quite a bit of fun with that too. We'll put all of this back here. And transcribing can be a really like meditative process where you can just sit and write and look at the ink and not have to think about the words because you don't have to come up with them. And it's an excuse to put pen to paper and to play around and to have fun, especially with like pens that maybe you wouldn't usually pick up, like a quill, or I also like to use a dip pen like this, or you know, your Pilot Parallel or weird nibs that perhaps you don't use on a regular basis. It's just a good excuse to experiment and play around. And then you can use it as creative inspiration. I actually heard about an author, and now I don't even know who this guy is, but he was an author, and he recommended as a warm-up exercise to transcribe passages from books that you really like or by authors that you really like to get used to their style, to introduce new vocabulary and sentence structure and imagery and things like that. So he recommended transcribing as a source of creative inspiration, or even as like a creative warm-up for your practice. You can also use it to practice handwriting. Like I use it to practice my cursive a lot because, you know, I never really did that in school and I wanted to get more comfortable with it, so I was practicing cursive. I'll also do a lot of calligraphy, or I want to try different calligraphy fonts. Unisol is the one that I would really like to get into, and I actually have a medieval calligraphy book, so I might make a couple videos going over that. And then it's also a really good way to, like I was saying, practice language and to practice because it introduces you to new vocabulary, new sentence structures, and gets you more familiar with it, and things like that. So you can also transcribe like song lyrics are really fun. Poetry, I do a lot of poetry, and then book passages are also really nice. And really all you need to transcribe is pen and paper. For long projects, I like to think about, you know, how comfortable is this going to be if I'm going to be writing for several hours. And then, you know, how legible do you want it to be? And then if you're doing any kind of like special font or whatever, you might want a different kind of pen. Oh my gosh. But yeah, those are all just things to consider about transcribing. And one of the things I really like is actually just watching the ink dry. Is I'll be writing and I just stop and watch the ink dry because sometimes it changes as it dries. That's what this one tends to do a lot, the Arizona Sky Crimson. So yeah, feel free to let me know down below if you have ever transcribed anything or what you like to transcribe, what you like to use. If you have any, you know, ideas or suggestions, I'm sure we would all love to hear them. But that is all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in, if anyone actually sees this, because now that I haven't posted for almost 2 months, my channel's kind of maybe a little dead. I don't have the algorithm on my side, but that's okay. And And thank you for bearing with me while I figure out, this new setup and everything. But yeah, without further ado, I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Love, share.